Happy holidays, everyone, and welcome back to another segment of Behind the Scenes of the Waltons. Today, I'm talking about the episode The Spirit, which was our Christmas episode for season 8. In The Spirit, we share the story of a young man who's a bit of a mystery. He's shown up on the mountain. He seems to be running and hiding, but we don't quite know why. And along the way, he befriends Jeffrey, the young cousin of ours played by Keith Coogan. Jeffrey is going through that point in time where he no longer believes in Santa Claus, and his grandma, Aunt Rose, to us, is just heartbroken by the idea that he's growing up and that this is no longer something that he believes in. But through his mystery friend, his secret friend, Paul, he learns the story of St. Nicholas and a few other things and finds that this secret friend of his fills a void in his life. Along the way, some fun, lighthearted things happen. Despite this being Christmas of 1943 and the war is underway and a number of members of the Walton family are being impacted by this. Jason is in the military. John Boy has had his injury and our mama is caring for him, so she's not here with the family this Christmas. But Ben is now married to Cindy, and he has something in mind he'd like for her for Christmas. And he engages our father in hopes that he will buy on Ben's behalf for Cindy this perfume, Nights of Love. And John is not at all interested in going in and purchasing this for Ben. So there's a really cute little exchange about that that I thought Ralph was adorable in. And then he ends up at getting gas at Ike Godsey's store. And then Ike wants him to get this nightgown for Corabeth. And John once again is like, I don't think Corabeth wants me to see her nightgown. So I thought it was great that the writers created some lighter moments in the midst of this episode, which was a rather somber story in general. And then there's Corabeth, who is going to be organizing the Christmas pageant, and she has her very definite ideas about what she wants to have happen, and the members of the congregation who are part of the committee are not at all on board with the pageantry she has in mind, and we all voice different options. And Corabeth adjourns the meeting to be readdressed at a future time. And when we come back, she has decided that she's going to put forth all the suggestions that we had actually made as if they're hers. And with us knowing Corabeth so well, we all just let Corabeth have that moment and agree with all the wonderful suggestions that she has made. I loved seeing all of the girls making Christmas decorations. I'm cutting out, cut out like gingerbread or little people out of construction paper. Someone is stringing popcorn. So it really brought that down-home element to the holidays in the Walton family. And then there's a really sweet moment when Rose hears the cow mooing and goes to check it out and makes the comment about everybody should have a watch cow. Another little behind the scenes thing that you wouldn't know. Typically, we had 4 regular stand-ins, and they would rotate around to stand in for whoever was needed at the time. And then sometimes when a small part was needed for an episode, they would grab one of our stand-ins to do that role. So it might be anything from a waiter to a delivery person or a customer in Ike Godsey's store. In this case, 3 of our stand-ins, Debbie, Lynn, and Gordon, were all present at the Dewdrop Inn when Jason drops by and plays a set of Christmas carols, and everyone is enjoying the Christmas spirit in the Dewdrop Inn. So this is Gordon, Debbie, and Lynn at the Dewdrop Inn. I've spoken before about the eating scenes in the Waltons and the amount of food that we would have to deal with at times, and how often when we didn't have to eat, we wouldn't actually shovel a lot of food in our mouths. We might move the food around or cut it up and do various different things instead of actually continually eating, because we then find ourselves eating for hours and hours. In this particular case, Ned Bellamy, who played the mysterious young man on the mountain, had to do a lot of eating. And in this case, you actually see him. He is having to shovel that food in. For his sake, I'm hoping that they didn't have to do too many takes on that, because that would be a lot of breakfast. I love the whole ending of this episode, starting with the family all singing Christmas carols and the decorated tree and us just celebrating the spirit of the holidays. And Ike and Corabeth are there. And then Jeffrey's friend Paul, who he has invited to share Christmas with the family, arrives, and in the spirit of the Waltons, our father John invites him in. And he reveals that he's actually escaped from a German prisoner of war camp. I didn't quite understand how that was, since he's on American soil and he was born in America. So I didn't, because it didn't sound like he'd actually been in Germany, just that he was German. So I don't quite know how all of that worked at that point. But he has escaped, and he tells Jason, who's a soldier, that he's turning himself into him. So we don't quite say what happens after the fact, but most likely Jason does need to turn him back in. But in the meantime, he's invited to share Christmas Eve with the Waltons, and he tells the story of the first Christmas tree and the first Christmas, and it's really quite lovely. And then in one of the most touching moments, I think, of the episode, a toast is raised to all who are not there. To Grandma, to Grandpa, to John Boy and our Mama, who are not sharing this Christmas with us. So that was a very touching moment when I looked back at this, because it reminded me of not just those who weren't on the show at that time, but all of those that we have since lost. So as we all share this holiday season, I guess it's important to not only celebrate those who are here with us, but remember those who aren't, and perhaps share a toast in their honor, because this is indeed the spirit of joy, peace on earth, goodwill to man. So I hope you've had a lovely holiday season, and here's looking forward to a better year in 2021. I'll see you next time with more behind the scenes of the Waltons and more Ask Judy. Happy holidays to you all. Thanks for watching.